SpaceWatchers, it's Chiara Monter here, event coordinator in our SpaceWatch.Global team. This year in April, I was lucky enough to attend the second CYSAT conference in Paris, the only European event entirely dedicated to cybersecurity for the space industry. At the end of the conference on day 2, I had the pleasure of talking to Mathieu, event director of CYSAT. Right after closing the event, I caught him and we sat next to the stage while talking about the conference and watching the guests say their goodbyes and leave the venue. This is Space Café Radio, your channel about trends, cool people, and real conferences. Enjoy! Now, basically 6 p.m., second day of the CYSAT conference.
Great.
We just finished.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I'm exhausted. It was a lot of work to prepare for the event. We are a small company, so a small team means we have to take care of everything. Finding sponsor, the venue, organizing the participants, the keynote, the speakers, everything from scratch to the very end. So we're very happy how it turns out in terms of participants, in terms of the quality of the presentations and the feedback we get from participants. Cybersecurity is a big concern now. We see it with the Viasat. Like, this is what everybody was talking about, the Viasat situation and how it changes for the market. So yeah, I think it's very much needed, and let's take it from there. We grow, and let's see how far we can go.
Amazing. Maybe for our audience, can you share what the main vision or the main goal behind this conference is?
Of course, so we started CYSAT because there was not much happening in Europe, and we felt like besides all the activities in the space, cybersecurity in the US, conferences, events for hackers, and so on, and Europe, nothing. So we were like, let's do something, and this is why we started this conference last year. And the idea is very basic. It's to bring space professionals, space engineers, with security professionals, and we want these two communities to talk together. The goal is to bring security practices to the space market. And for that, if we need 2 days on which people can meet and talk and exchange, this is what we intend to do. So yeah, that was basically the idea. And what we added this year is to invite hackers to, again, show concretely that vulnerabilities exist, and there are some people that are skilled enough to exploit them and to damage potentially the satellites. And this is how you can show space engineers that the risks are there, and this is why they should protect themselves and protect their satellites.
And I've seen, at least from talking to a lot of people, it's very valued as well to have that exchange. So, I mean, I know you were very busy, you're on stage most of the time, but what were your key takeaways?
It's a good question because it's still fresh in my mind, so I need to digest what everybody said. But I really loved the keynote from Nicolas Chaillan from the US, and trying to put into perspective where we stand in Europe, what the best level in the world is. And mostly, it's sad to say it, but mostly from the US. Like, cloud services are best from Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. This is a reality. It's the same for a lot of things in space and security. In Europe, we need to catch up. We need to have an industrial ecosystem in Europe in our own hands to really build our infrastructure, our space assets to protect our data. And we can't wait. We need to get started now. And we see it with the new geopolitical situation in Ukraine, with the war. We don't really know what the future will be, and we have to take care of it right now.
I was talking to some participants who are also more from the aerospace sector who said that they were experiencing quite a deja vu listening to this because it's similar discussions from aerospace. Is there also more of an exchange between those sectors? Do you see that happening more?
I think this would be mostly through security professionals. Like, we've heard some of the hackers actually worked on embedded systems for very diversified markets and applications, and they're basically saying the vulnerabilities are basically the same. Like, and we know the solutions, we know the tools, we know how to fix them. It's just a matter of taking that information to the space engineers, to the people really working on these missions. So again, it's a question of culture, it's a question of awareness and education. And this is why also we wanted to invite students from Super-Héros, TU Berlin, and University of Bochum to really educate engineers and make them more aware about security, cryptography, all the basic concepts, which at the end of the day, they will be in the first place to implement it and to build it with their own hands. It's a long process, but again, we have to get started, and this is why we're doing this event.
This was now the second edition. There's next year, 2030, we'll have the third edition of the CYSAT. What is your aim with that? What's the goal, the next level?
Good question. I think so. This year we invited hackers. The goal was to have an actual demonstration of a flying satellite. It didn't happen because of the situation in Ukraine, but we still aim at doing that in the near future. And again, to show concretely, like, look, we can hack this satellite. Like, we did it. We did in reality. Like, we were able to implement a ransomware on a satellite. It was not hard. It was actually pretty easy. So this will be a natural next step. And then the goal would be to have satellite operators, really industrial players, calling ethical hackers, implementing all the recommendations that we have heard during the 2 days of DevSecOps, of all the modern practices, including security from scratch. And when they will be doing that, we will be happy and we'll no longer need CYSAT, but I don't think this will be anytime soon.
And can you tell me a little bit more about the people attending? So you said also to bring that security side with the space sector, but are they also from public and private, and how is that range?
So let's say that our focus for the event is really space professionals. So engineers, so ground segment engineers, space segment engineers, system engineers, really the engineers working on the missions. And these they're in the front line when making decisions on what tools they need to use and what exactly they will be implementing. And then we have a mix between agencies. So we have people from ESA, use the historic players like Airbus, Thales, CGI, GMB. They're all here, and also the new space players. So it's kind of a mix in terms of companies and profiles, and also a mix in terms of countries. And this is also important. So we are based in Paris. The goal was to have a European event. So we want to have all the space companies from Italy, Spain, the UK. We had BAE, Telspazio. So really to have something on the European level. And for the security companies, it's a bit the same. So we have the researchers. We had a couple of people from universities working on research topics and projects, and also consulting firms, security companies like us pushing products to the space market. So it's really an ecosystem, and this is what we want to build.
Wonderful. I'm very happy that I got to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kira. It was great having you.
This was the end of our episode, but please don't forget to check out our full program of Space Café Radio, where we offer interviews, insights, and editorial comments on the space sector. Thank you all very much for listening. And with that, I leave you for today. And don't forget, become a Space Watcher. Bye!